I mean, Mr. Carter has nothing to do with Mr. Combs' case or Mr. Combs. They knew each other professionally for a number of years, just like in all professions.
More than a decade of friendship couldn't stop Jay Z and Diddy from clashing in the spotlight. Word on the street is that their alliance has crumbled, and now Diddy may be firing shots right back at the man he once called a brother. Reports claim that behind closed doors, Diddy allegedly pointed the finger at Jay Z during a private legal meeting, dragging him straight into the chaos. The news spread like wildfire, with blogs, podcasts, and timelines lighting up with speculation. This all connects back to a lawsuit filed in late 2024, one that has kept both men in the headlines. While the details remain tied up in legal language, the case has fueled nonstop debate about power, loyalty, and the high-stakes world of hip-hop business. Fans are divided. Some believe Diddy is trying to save himself by shifting blame, while others think there might be more to the story than meets the eye. One thing's for sure, the drama between these two moguls is only getting messier, and the industry is watching closely to see who comes out on top.
Made you want to come forward? Because I think that I've been quiet long.
This latest legal bombshell came from attorney Tony Busby, a lawyer known for grabbing headlines with high-profile cases. Once the internet caught wind of the situation, Jay Z wasted no time shutting it down, calling it nothing more than a desperate attempt to shake him down. He made it clear he wasn't paying a dime to make it disappear. At the same time, Diddy was already facing his own mountain of legal troubles, with talk of major court battles and serious allegations keeping him in the news. With his next big court date set for May 2025, the drama surrounding him only added fuel to the fire. Fans and media locked in on the story, like it was a hip-hop soap opera playing out in real time. But to really understand how we got here, we have to rewind the clock. These two music moguls go way back to the New York rap scene of the 1990s. Diddy launched Bad Boy Records in 1993 and signed the notorious B.I.G., setting the stage for a legendary run. Meanwhile, Jay Z was building his own path. In 1994, he teamed up with Dame Dash and Kareem Biggs Burke to create Rockefeller Records, and just 2 years later, he dropped his debut classic, Reasonable Doubt. Their paths crossed often, especially through Biggie, who had strong ties to both. In fact, Jay Z and Biggie teamed up for Brooklyn's Finest on Jay's debut, which helped cement the link between Rockefeller and Diddy's Bad Boy family. Even though the East Coast rap scene was competitive, people close to them say there was no bad blood, only mutual respect. Both men had their eyes on bigger moves beyond just music. But everything changed in March 1997 when Biggie's life was tragically cut short. The loss sent shockwaves through hip-hop and deeply impacted both Jay Z and Diddy. Diddy channeled his grief into his debut album No Way Out, which included Young G's, a track featuring both Jay Z and a posthumous verse from Biggie. Jay Z returned the favor by bringing Diddy onto his second album, In My Lifetime, Volume 1, for the track I Know What Girls Like. These collaborations strengthened their bond during one of the toughest periods in hip-hop history. At that time, Diddy reportedly viewed Jay Z as someone who could carry forward the legacy left behind by both Biggie and Tupac. By the late 1990s, however, both moguls began facing headline-making legal troubles of their own. Strangely enough, those challenges seemed to bring them even closer together, as each navigated the intense pressure of fame, business, and public scrutiny. The cracks in Diddy and Jay Z's brotherhood didn't start with a headline, they started with an avalanche. By late 2023, the bad boy mogul wasn't just facing whispers. He was buried under a flood of allegations that turned his world upside down and left fans asking one question: was Jay Z caught in the crossfire too? It all kicked off in November 2023, when Diddy's longtime ex Cassie Ventura broke the silence with a chilling lawsuit that painted him as an abuser. Her bombshell accusations blew the doors wide open, and suddenly one case turned into many. By September 2024, things had spiraled completely out of control. Diddy was slapped with federal charges, racketeering, trafficking, and a laundry list of other serious crimes. Prosecutors locked in his trial date for May 5th, 2025. And here's where things got messy. Court filings and rumors started pointing at Diddy's infamous all-white parties, and something darker people were calling freak-offs. Some lawsuits even name-dropped Jay Z as an alleged guest, instantly putting him under the microscope. Fans, bloggers, and media outlets lit up the internet with one burning question: how close was HOV really to Diddy's chaos? The fire grew hotter in October 2023, when singer Jaguar Wright sat down with Piers Morgan and censored. She didn't just throw shade. She outright claimed Jay Z and Beyoncé were tangled up in Diddy's mess. But here's the kicker: she dropped 0 receipts. None. And when Jay's legal team allegedly turned up the pressure, Piers Morgan himself issued a public apology, walking it all back. Still, by then the damage was done. The once rock-solid brotherhood between Jay Z and Diddy was starting to look less like a bond and more like a ticking time bomb.
Getting tighter, you know what I'm saying? And united we stand, and ain't nothing else.
Black excellence, they're sitting there like, yeah.
50 Cent, never one to stay quiet, jumped in quickly to mock both Diddy and Jay Z, joking online about how Jay had gone silent while Diddy's troubles grew. Jay Z, meanwhile, stayed focused on his businesses, Tidal and Roc Nation, keeping his usual low profile and avoiding controversy. But then on December 8, 2024, things escalated when a new civil lawsuit was filed against both Diddy and Jay Z. The case involved a woman identified only as Jane Doe, who claimed something happened to her more than 2 decades ago at a party connected to the 2000 MTV VMAs. According to her filing, she was 13 years old at the time and had traveled to New York hoping to see the awards show. She didn't have tickets, but while outside the venue, she said she was approached by someone offering her a ride to an afterparty. She alleged that she ended up at a large mansion filled with celebrities and a party atmosphere. From there, her lawsuit claims that she was put in a vulnerable situation and that both Diddy and Jay Z were involved. She also said another well-known female star was present. Jane Doe's account describes that she became disoriented after being given a drink, and what followed left her traumatized. She said she managed to escape and call her father, but the incident left lasting scars, leading to years of emotional struggles. The case was filed under New York's Gender-Motivated Violence Protection Act, which allows civil lawsuits to be brought forward even decades after the alleged incident. This legal pathway is what made it possible for Jane Doe to file her complaint 24 years later. Jay Z wasn't about to sit quietly while these accusations swirled. He hit back instantly. On December 8, 2024, Roc Nation's official account dropped a blunt statement straight from HOV himself. He called the lawsuit outrageous and ridiculous, accusing attorney Tony Buzbee of staging a calculated shakedown. Jay Z said Buzbee sent him a so-called demand letter, basically trying to scare him into paying hush money, but instead of folding, Jay said it fired him up. His message was crystal clear: "You're not getting a dime." Jay Z even went further, stressing that if the allegations were as serious as claimed, they belonged in a criminal court, not a civil one. He said real justice should come from prosecutors, not a cash payout. And he admitted the hardest part of all was sitting down with his 12-year-old daughter, Blue Ivy, to explain the headlines. The very next day, December 9th, Jay Z's top lawyer, Alex Spiro, filed a motion to have the case thrown out entirely, or at the very least force Jane Doe to reveal her real name. Spiro argued that Jay Z had the right to know who was accusing him and blasted Buzbee for trying to hijack the legal system just to grab headlines and wreck reputations. But then came the twist no one saw coming. On December 17th, Spiro went on record denying that Jay Z and Diddy were ever true friends. He painted their connection as purely business, nothing more. The internet wasn't buying it. Fans immediately started pulling receipts. Old interviews, award show photos, studio collabs, even those flashy Hamptons vacation pictures. Twitter lit up with side-by-side clips of Jay Z and Diddy praising each other, clowning the idea that their bond was just business. It was a bold legal move, but one that risked backfiring in the court of public opinion.
She says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up.
We rode home in silence. She didn't ask me what happened.
The "we were never that close" defense only got messier. In February 2025, famed attorney Joe Tacopina, the same lawyer who refused to represent Diddy, casually hinted that Jay Z and Diddy weren't even on speaking terms. That fueled speculation that Jay Z was distancing himself to dodge the fallout. But fans weren't buying it. Not after decades of public bromance vibes, joint performances, and flashy photo shoots together. Meanwhile, the woman at the center of the lawsuit, Jane Doe, sat down with NBC News in mid-December 2024 to share her side. She said she stayed silent for more than 2 decades because she thought no one would ever believe a young girl over 2 of the most powerful men in music. But when the cameras rolled, cracks began to show. She claimed her father drove 5 hours to pick her up that night, but he had no memory of the trip. She even said she spotted Benji Madden at the VMAs, except his camp confirmed he was on tour in the Midwest at the time. Jay-Z's lawyers jumped on that instantly, arguing her memory couldn't be trusted. Headlines blared, timelines got dissected, and the internet started buzzing. Was this case starting to collapse under its own contradictions? Still, Jane Doe held firm. "You should always stand up for yourself and speak your truth," she told reporters. Advocates also reminded the public that trauma and substances can distort details, meaning inconsistencies didn't automatically erase credibility. But the legal crossfire wasn't just aimed at her. Jay Z and another unnamed male celeb, listed as John Doe, both accused attorney Tony Busby of staging a shakedown, alleging he used fake claims to pressure stars in Diddy's orbit into hush money payouts. One lawsuit even claimed Busby had a whole playbook: target, intimidate, cash out. Busby clapped back, calling it nonsense. He said Jay Z was running a smear campaign against him, his clients, even his family, and insisted he wanted the truth fought out in court, not in the media. Then came the judge's move. On December 27, 2024, U.S. District Judge Annalisa Torres allowed Jane Doe to remain anonymous, at least for now. But she also blasted Jay-Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, for flooding the court with dramatic motions instead of sticking to the facts. And while Spiro pushed hard to dismiss the case over inconsistencies, Judge Torres said not so fast. The claims still deserved a full courtroom deep dive. As for Diddy, his powerhouse lawyer Tenny Garagos dismissed the lawsuit as nothing more than a cash grab stunt. Diddy himself, still locked up since September 2024, denied every accusation. His team vowed the truth would clear him. And then, the Valentine's Day shocker. On February 14, 2025, Jane Doe dropped the case against both Jay Z and Diddy with prejudice. That meant she could never refile it. No explanations. No press statement. Just silence. Jay Z's lawyer, Alex Spiro, declared victory. He said Jay faced the fire head-on, never flinched, never paid anyone off, and walked out with his name intact. For Jay Z, this legal storm was finally over. Or at least that's what it looked like.
We also seen Puff say, my brother Jay Z, this is my brother, we're brothers. So when you hear that term, it makes people assume that you guys are closer than just associates.
Jay Z came out of this legal storm determined to clear his name. He said the whole ordeal had shaken his family in ways that a simple dismissal couldn't fix. Diddy's lawyers also celebrated the case being thrown out, saying it proved these lawsuits were more about attention than truth. They highlighted that several of attorney Tony Busby's other cases against Diddy had already fallen apart when the accusers chose not to move forward publicly. But the story took a sharp turn on March 12, 2025, when ABC News reported on a leaked recording. In it, the woman behind the claims allegedly admitted that Jay Z never harmed her, and even said Busby pressured her to include Jay Z's name. The clip was never officially verified, but it left many people questioning both the lawsuit and Busby's tactics. After the dismissal, Jay Z refused to just walk away. On March 3, 2025, he filed a defamation lawsuit against Jane Doe and her legal team, accusing them of deliberately trying to damage his reputation for money and publicity. He claimed she had even told his representatives the story was made up under pressure. Jay Z's filing accused them of abuse of the legal system, conspiracy, and attacking his character. Busby fired back, calling Jay Z's new lawsuit nonsense. He argued that Jane Doe still stood by her claims, and he accused Jay Z's team of using private investigators to intimidate his client. He also defended his original demand letter, saying it was standard legal practice, not a shakedown. By March 2025, the back and forth was still active in court. Busby insisted Jay Z was trying to silence Jane Doe, while Jay Z's side argued she had been pressured to bring his name into it in the first place. Meanwhile, rumors swirled that Diddy had pointed the finger at Jay Z in court, but without evidence, those claims stayed in the gossip pile. What was certain, though, was that the February 2025 dismissal of Jane Doe's lawsuit and that leaked recording shifted the entire conversation. Jay Z argued the accusations had caused him deep emotional distress, embarrassment, and serious financial losses. According to his team, Roc Nation lost over $20 million in deals and contracts because of the controversy. This wasn't just about reputation, it was about protecting his business empire. Still, the NFL stood by him, keeping its partnership with Roc Nation intact. On the other side, Diddy remained behind bars at Brooklyn's Metropolitan Detention Center, awaiting trial on major federal charges. Unlike the civil case that collapsed, those criminal charges could keep him locked up for years if he's convicted. Public opinion stayed divided. Jay Z's supporters praised him for fighting back instead of settling, especially after the ABC News report. Many accused Busby of shady tactics and called for accountability. Some critics, however, argued that powerful figures like Jay Z often escape full responsibility and questioned his aggressive legal moves to unmask the accuser. The broader debate spilled beyond the case itself, raising questions about accountability, the influence of wealth, and whether high-profile names are really held to the same standard as everyone else. Experts also pointed out how public bias played a role. Some fans refused to believe the accusations against Jay Z because of his family man image and charity work, while Diddy's past controversies made people more inclined to assume the worst about him. Made him look like he was placing brand management over empathy, a move that rubbed some people the wrong way. The article argued that when powerful men brush off accusations as baseless, without acknowledging the broader issues of abuse and exploitation in the industry, it reinforces the cycle of silence that victims often face. Meanwhile, think pieces popped up everywhere. Some praised Jay Z for aggressively defending his name and refusing to let false allegations derail decades of work. Others questioned whether his legal firepower and PR machine were just another example of how billionaires can bend narratives in their favor. And then you had Diddy, still sitting in a Brooklyn detention center, facing a stack of federal charges. His downfall became almost symbolic, a cultural giant whose empire collapsed under the weight of both his own alleged actions and the shifting tides of accountability. Even if some civil claims against him fizzled out, the criminal trial loomed over him like a storm cloud. By spring 2025, the conversation had shifted from "Did Jay Z do this?" to "What does this mean for hip-hop, celebrity loyalty, and the way the industry protects its kings?" Because whether you were Team Jay Z, Team Diddy, or just a spectator, one thing was clear: this legal saga wasn't just about two moguls. It was about trust, power, money, and the future of an entire culture. Echoed a culture of silence in hip-hop that leaves women and girls hurt. And let's be real, when that supposed female celeb witness got brushed under the rug, it exposed something bigger: how the industry loves to protect power while victims get sidelined. But the lawsuits didn't stay still. Jane Doe cases kept dropping. Then a leaked recording hinted the story might have been cooked up, adding fuel for folks who swear this was all just a cash grab. Still, plenty of people weren't buying that, pointing back to the power imbalance and how hard it is to hold stars accountable. Then boom, April 2025 brought a brand new lawsuit. Joseph Manzaro accused Diddy of humiliating him at a Miami party in 2015, even dragging Jay Z and Beyoncé in as witnesses. But Jay's lawyer, Alex Spiro, clapped back hard with receipts proving Jay was in New York, not Florida. By April 11th, Manzaro quietly scrubbed Jay and Bey's names out. That back and forth became a pattern: bold accusations, quick retractions. And with each case dropped, the narrative got clearer. Jay Z was getting pulled into Diddy's storm, but courts weren't buying it. Jay kept winning. Diddy kept sinking. Now their so-called brotherhood looks more like a PR illusion than a real bond. The rumored, you know what happened courtroom showdown? Probably nothing more than internet gossip, a messy footnote in a saga where power, money, and social media turned fact and fiction into one big blur. At the end of the day, this wasn't just about Diddy or Jay Z. It's about how fragile celebrity friendships really are, how the industry protects its own, and how truth gets twisted when billions and reputations are on the line. Hey, if you thought this story was wild, wait until you check the other vids on your screen. Trust me, they're just as juicy. No cap. I'll catch you in the next one.